Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to Courtside Soundoff podcast today. I'm Josh Ivanoff. He is Angel Ortega. A lot of stuff to talk about this week. It is Super Bowl week, ladies and gentlemen. More normally, we're a MMA show. We still are. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, including the NBA, the Super Bowl, some boxing news, obviously the return of the UFC. Before we talk about that, I want to talk to you guys about the greatest drink of all time, Rogue Energy. This episode of the Courtside Soundoff podcast is brought to you by Rogue Energy. Rogue Energy was founded in January 2017 to be the best gaming drink in the world. They developed a premium stack in the form of a delicious energy and focused drink. It is designed to replace unhealthy canned energy drinks, coffee, and even traditional pre-workouts. Rogue Energy is sugar-free and is loaded with vitamins, antioxidants, and nootropics. They designed Rogue Energy for the emerging professional competitive gaming market, and it continues to have fantastic carryover and success with students, athletes, entrepreneurs, and anyone looking to optimize their mental and physical performance. If you want 10% off your order, use the code SOUNDOFF at checkout. That's code SOUNDOFF at checkout for 10% off of all your energy needs. This Saturday night at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada, UFC Vegas 18. One final run for Alistair Overeem, one of the all-time heavyweight GOATs. He's a former Dream heavyweight champion, a K1 World Grand Prix champion, a Strikeforce heavyweight champion. He's been a champ everywhere he's gone, except for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. He's now in his early 40s. He said he's on one final run to get that UFC belt, standing in his way in the midst of another thing about Overeem. He's won, I believe, 2 fights in a row. In the midst of his comeback, beating Walt Harris and Augustus Sakai. Standing in his way is a 6'7" monster from Moscow, Alexander Volkov, arguably the best striker of the heavyweight division, coming off a win over Walt Harris. And ever since he came to the UFC, he's been a wrecking machine. Only lost to Derek Lewis and one of the greatest comebacks of all time, and Curtis Blades in a very interesting decision, to say the least. 5 rounds, UFC Apex, Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll throw it straight to you, Angel. Do you think Overeem's going to continue on his path for one final championship shot, or do you think Volkov's going to spring the upset?
Josh, you know how I feel about Volkov. I don't even know why you had to ask me, dude. I'm picking Volkov.
Volkov. You think that's going to be it for Reem on Saturday?
I don't. It pains me because it's Reem's last run. He's to the point where he said it, and we talked about it a while back before he kind of put it out there, where we're like, this is Overeem's last run, dude. There's no other. He's not going to get another chance. Mm-hmm. Thing is, Volkov, I just have faith in him, man. I've talked about it numerously, like a number of times, privately to you, to other people, how I think in some world I can see Volkov with the UFC belt around him. For some reason, I always said that, like, I just see him winning it. Now, do I think it'll happen? Obviously, that's another story. But I believe that he has all the skill sets. He has the pedigree to be UFC heavyweight champ. I guess as a whole, for me, it's just an easy pick because I don't know why, dude. Ever since I saw him fight, just him, his build, and how he is, I have faith in him, and I can see him beating a lot of guys. And the Reem's a good matchup. But yeah, I think he ends Reem's his reign. Obviously it has, the night hasn't happened right, but it'll be really shitty if it does happen for the Reem. Regardless, though, this is a banger of a fight for both guys. Either after this guy's pretty much just there with the winner of Blades and Derek whenever that happens, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as that goes, man, I'm not as high on Volkov as you are. I've been watching him for a very long time. I've been watching him back in his Bellator days, and never once did I think, yeah, this guy's a future champ. But now watching him in the UFC, man, he's flipped the switch. And I got to go Volkov here too, man. I mean, listen, I think this is going to be a really fun stylistic matchup, but I don't see Reem having a whole lot for him in terms of, I think the other way Reem wins this fight is with a knockout, and he has a lot of power, but Volkov, man, that dude is a chin made of adamantium. He's only been finished once. I I'm gonna go Volkov here too, man. I think it's gonna be an interesting fight. I'm not sure how it's gonna go down. Normally, I give my predictions. You say I'm bold by predicting how I think a person's gonna win.
Oh man.
I don't, because for me it's just logical. Because like in my head, I try to see how these fights are going. I try to like think about, oh, how is this fight gonna go? And in my head, I just visualize it. I have no idea how this is gonna go. I got Volkov winning though. I think he's the younger man. I think he's the better striker. Don't know how it's gonna go though. Gonna be an interesting fight. He seems like he's turning on in terms of his finishing abilities, which is I'm a huge fan of. He's normally, at least earlier in his career, he was kind of more of a decision guy. I mean, I know it sounds weird because he has 21 knockouts, but in the UFC at least, I mean, it was, decision, 2 knockouts, which I will give him credit for, but then it was a decision. The Wall Harris win, he showed just ferocious ability, like a great finishing ability. He looked improved in the clinch against a really big guy. I'm gonna go Volkov here, man. So we're both on that one. This one we may be split on. Co-main event. In my opinion, the greatest fight on the card. I love the main event. I love both those dudes in there. But dude, come on, you got to show some love in the co-main. Corey Sandhagen taking on the answer, Frankie Edgar. Obviously, Corey Sandhagen coming off of a knockout win over Marlon Moraes not earlier this year. I guess it'll be last year now. It's 2021, boys. Frankie Edgar coming off of his successful bantamweight debut, turning back the clock. He was a massive underdog, getting a great win over Pedro Munoz, a great split decision win. Who do you got here, man? I think this is a really interesting fight for both guys for a load of reasons.
Hey, man, it's a scary matchup for Corey Sandhagen, I think, because Frankie, for a while there, we were kind of like, is he aging out? And he's old, dude. I think he's going to turn 40 this year, or damn near 40 this year. When that Max fight happened, he was getting lit the fuck up. He had the Korean Zombie loss in there, and then there was another one in there that was kind of freakish too. That was a bit worrying, I think. The wrestling man of Frankie Edgar. That's the thing I'm really thinking about. At his 39 years of age, will he be as effective to the younger Corey Sandhagen? And in their bout, that's kind of been my whole thing. And I think that if you pick Frankie here, it's not a bad pick by any means.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I'm still feeling this Corey Sandhagen, man. After he came back from that loss against Aljamain, I feel like maybe he's caught this second win. Maybe he's like something I need to get it. But at the same time, though, the way Marlon Moraes has looked, how much can we take from that truly? But at the same time, maybe it was just that good of a performance out of Corey Sandhagen. We'll see what they have to offer. I'm gonna pick Corey Sandhagen. He's a younger dude, a lot of potential, and I don't know. I can see him winning it, but Frankie, I wouldn't be surprised if Frankie won this, and in really good fashion. This almost reminds me, and it's not the same, but it almost reminds me of the Jose Aldo Marlon Chito Vera. Even though I think Marlon's better, I think Corey's a better fighter as a whole than Marlon, or at least where you put him levels wise, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, look, man. I'm on the same page as you that I think Corey might be the overall better fighter. I think Frankie Edgar's going to wrestle the shit out of him. I think Frankie Edgar, he showed in the Munoz fight that he still got it. And I think him moving down the division, where he probably should have been, honestly. I mean, the fact that this guy was a 155-pound champion is one of the greatest things in MMA history that does not get talked about enough. This guy was not cutting weight. He was 5'6", and he was 155-pound champion. That's insane. And lightweight's always been probably the best division the UFC has ever had. So moving down to featherweight, he was obviously a title challenger, never won the belt. I think 135 is his best shot right now. I think he looked great against Munoz, and I think Corey Sandhagen, it flies under the radar a lot because he's fought a lot of strikers. This is a guy with under a 50% takedown defense. Like, it's something that it does not get talked about enough, in my opinion. His great submission skills, but his takedown defense just isn't there. I think Frankie's gonna do a lot of level changes. I think he's going to be very slick with the boxing, and I think he's just going to maul Sandhagen, especially on the ground, man. I mean, and here's the thing that's interesting too. Thinking about it, I don't think I've ever picked Frankie Edgar since the show's been going, which is almost 2 years now. So maybe I'm just jinxing it here, but I'm going to take Frankie Edgar via decision, man.
Alrighty.
But moving on, man, is there anything else on the undercard you want to talk about?
Oh man, dude. I think it's I don't know if it's a sleeper, dude, but Manel Kape versus Alexander Pantoja, dude.
Oh.
Ooh, dude, I think this is a sleeper,
Filthy.
man. Alexander, bro, sleeper guy, dude. And then Manel K coming from Rising, it's his UFC debut. I think his last 3 fights ended in a finish. Just excited one. And then obviously the rematch at lightweight, man. I mean, these guys, the winner of this steps up to fight the big names after this fight. Carlos Diego Ferreira versus Beneil Dariush, absolute banger, dude. They're rematching after it's been a long time, many years. That's another one. This is a good card, man. And obviously, the much loved old guys, Michael Johnson versus Clay Guida. Oh man. Yeah. I feel like that's gonna be the sleeper banger of the night. I could be absolutely wrong, but I think it will be.
Yeah, looking at this card, not to shit on next week's pay-per-view or anything, this card blows it out of the water, honestly. I'm a huge fan of this card, dude. That main card is dope. So obviously Michael Johnson, Clay Guida, like you said, that one's kind of the older dudes. Michael Johnson's not actually that old. He's only 34, but he's had a steep decline. We'll see if he gets on the winning trail here. Clay Guida, obviously, he's going under like a mini career renaissance. Honestly, he kind of was before he lost to Jim Miller, because he had won 3 of 4. He beat BJ, Joe Lozon, Eric Koch, and the one loss was to Ortega, I believe. Ortega and Oliveira, and he was winning the Ortega fight. But since then, he's lost 2 in a row. Obviously, Benny Dariush, man. Beneil Dariush, I always call him Benny. This dude, huge fan of this guy. I am dude, this guy, at one point, he had lost he had not won in 3 fights. He got knocked out by Alexander Hernandez, by Edson Barboza, and then he had a draw with Evan Dunham. And at the time, Evan Dunham, he's a durable guy, but he's never been a guy at that level. Since then, dude, straight up props to Thiago Moises, Drew Dober, Frank Camacho, Drakkar Klose, Scott Holtzman. All of those were finishes, I believe. And then Carlos Diego Ferreira, this is a dude rebounding. Never once was he, Beneil Dariush is one of those guys in the top 15 where everybody thought, oh yeah, he's got potential, she needs to put it together. Nobody thought Ferreira was going to be that guy. Never. I mean, he came into the UFC, he went 2-2. He lost to Poirier and Dariush, which obviously those have aged well. But since then, dude, Jared Gordon, Olivier Oban Morsier, the Canadian gangster, Kyle Nelson, Rustam Khabibov, Merabak Suzumov, and Anthony Pettis. Damn good wins, dude. Shout out to him. And like you said, winner gets into title contention. Oh, yeah, and also Cody Stamann, Askar. Amazing main card. Even looking down the prelims, dude.
AK-47. I can't believe that. That's his moniker, dude.
But even looking down the prelims, dude, I mean, you got the biggest underrated banger on the card. Devontae Smith, Justin James. Quote me on this. That's a fight of the night contender right there, dude. Devontae Smith, before losing to Kama Worthy, was seen as like one of the greatest, prospects in the lightweight division. Justin James, obviously we know his little story. Guitar Hero, a dude who's been fighting for like 8 years before he got that shot in the UFC. Knocked out Frank Camacho and then had a war with Gavin Tucker. He's trying to get back on the winning streak. So look, man. Dope card. Can't wait to see it. But that is not the only fight card, Angel, this weekend. It's not the only fight card.
Ooh.
Have you heard of this little thing called Knucklemania going down? No, it is not it's bare knuckle. It's not MMA. In case you couldn't tell by the fucking name of the event. And in the main event, we got Paige 12 gauge Van Zant, Paige OnlyFans Zant, if you've been following her Twitter. She's stepping in, fighting bare knuckle. She notably has had a lot of injuries with her hands and her arms in his career. Regardless, still stepping in to fight in a sport with no gloves. Bold move, but also on the undercard, we got Johnny Bedford, Dat Nugent. Dat Win, I guess would actually be how you pronounce that. By the way, Win actually a legit professional boxer, 20-3, been in there with a couple of really good dudes. 2-0 in bare knuckle, and Johnny Bedford, obviously I believe he's the champ, former UFC fighter, former Bellator fighter, and then that's not all. The crippler Chris Lieben stepping in to fight at heavyweight of all divisions. So yeah, man. There's a lot to like here. What do you think about this card? And it's been said all week in the lead up to this that this is the greatest BKFC card of all time. Would you agree with that statement, Angel?
I mean, dude, I think Paulie Malignaggi versus Artem Lobov just because of because dude,
The
no, you're
spectacle.
gonna the spectacle, yeah. But then also Jason Knight, Artem Lobov won because of how good the card was.
Yeah. Even
Um,
the second card was dope too.
Even the second card, yeah. So I give those credit. I think it's just because Page is a pretty big name, and then obviously Chris Lieben, this is his last fight, and also kind of the second chance he's gotten, like you said, prior to the show.
Yeah, but overall, man, I mean, who are you? It's an interesting discussion, right? Because this is a card where, I'll ask you point blank. This card's $40. Would you buy it? I know that BKFC.
If my local Buffalo Wild Wings was providing it,
yeah, there we go. Yeah,
I'd go and watch it.
the local Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't think there's a whole lot of local Buffalo Wild Wings that are gonna have Michael Mania on, but
no, sadly not. But this would be something that I would get maybe 4 guys in on and buy it for $10.
Yeah, because listen, they're banking a lot on Page, and I like BKFC a lot. And I know you mentioned that you watch their podcast, and everybody has a podcast nowadays, dude.
Oh, dude, you're not even wrong, eh? Shit, we have one.
that's a joke. A bunch of scrubs have podcasts now. No, but and they're really banking on her, dude. I mean, I know that she said she's getting paid 10 times what she's getting paid in the UFC, which I'm not sure if I believe that, but whatever. And it's definitely an interesting move for her. It's going to be interesting to see if it works out, but I'm personally more hyped for obviously the Chris Lieben fight than anything. I mean, the Crippler, if you guys don't know, and it's kind of weird now because I feel like we're past that age where a lot of people know who Chris Lieben is, because he's been out of his prime since his last UFC fight was 2013, and he's been out of his prime since at least 2010. But obviously, dude was one of the most entertaining fighters in his prime. The Crippler, he had the red hair. He said he's going to bring the Crippler out one more time on Saturday night, and then he's going to call it quits. One of the most entertaining fighters of all time. I can't wait to see his fight. So yeah, man, hell of a show they got going on BKFC's app, I believe. So shout out them. It's an interesting card, man. Interesting to watch. But moving on, man. I know you mentioned in last week that you want to talk about this. So I'm gonna let you take the lead as far as that goes. We're not halfway through the season, but what would you say? We're a quarter of the way through. A third of the way through.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a good eye of who the top teams are and who the disappointments are. In addition to that, obviously, who's MVP, who's going to be leading in that sort of discussion. So just taking off the top, man, who were your early MVP favorites? Just because I feel like this is weird. It's really, really strange to where by this point, I feel like we have an idea. And obviously, there's contenders out there, but there's nobody running away with it, at least early.
I mean, I there's some people who will always argue for LeBron. I'll give credit to LeBron. I can't.
LaFraud.
LaFlop. I know, dude. I think it's really funny. I think a lot of people. I joke a lot about I'll talk to some people at work or just some other people who I talk to about basketball, and I'll constantly not make fun of, but I'll be like, oh, you're the LaFraud, and they think I hate LeBron. I'm like, dude, no, I just think it's just funny to me.
It's just funny.
It's funny because there's a lot of LeBron stands.
And also, there's a lot of scrubs out there who like making fun of it, so I think it's just fun to say.
Yeah, so it's kind of what it is more. I think it's just a funny thing to do. It's not because I don't dislike LeBron or I don't think LeBron's good. I think LeBron's amazing.
LaFraud.
LaFraud. It's funny. But early MVP. Obviously LeBron always most of the time. KD and Embiid are kind of my 3 guys. I say Jokic is there, but because the wins haven't been there. That's my issue. They're 7-3 in their last 10, but it kind of took a while to get there, and Embiid and LeBron have kind of been carrying that energy already. So, but dude, at the same time though, Paul George, sleeper with the Clippers.
Sleeper.
The Clippers silently. I don't know if you've noticed this, Josh. The Clippers have silently been winning games.
They've just been putting in work, dude. I don't feel like I hear a lot about the Clippers anymore, probably because of last year, but I know I've been seeing the stats, man. PG and Kawhi have been putting it up silently each night.
Yeah.
I mean, Kawhi's always silent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But yeah, you know what I mean. Silently, they've been doing it in the back. So obviously, those are my early picks. Biggest disappointment so far, the Mavericks.
Yeah, man, hands down.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on. I know KP was gone or has been out, but he was gone before, and they were doing good. I need to watch one of their games, dude. I truly need to see what's going on. I haven't gotten a chance to sit down and watch. I know they lost like one or two guys, but even then, regardless, man, I don't think this roster is performing how they should be, man. 9-14. They don't have their pick for next year. The Knicks do. Fun fact. Just
Yeah.
that is the
Playoff bound Knicks, by the way.
yeah, playoff bound Knicks. Now that my surprise team of the year is the Knicks.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I didn't think.
I'd say the Knicks and the Cavs because they were kind of two teams I never had faith in, and they're doing significantly better than what I thought.
Dude, just real quickly to go back to MVP, if you would have asked me like the start of the season, this is why I'm glad we don't give predictions at the start of the season. We kind of go week by week. Is I totally would have said Luka MVP. It seemed to me like he was being set up.
Oh, well, a lot of people thought that.
It's like, oh yeah, he's the future star of the NBA. You know what I mean? Or at least kind of in that Dirk role. Not even just because he's white and he plays for the Mavs, just because he could be like that silent guy who's really just fucking shit up each year. And obviously he can still do that, just not this year, man. But obviously I think Embiid's leading. For me and personally in the MVP conversation, I gotta go Embiid, dude. Because I've actually watched a couple of 76ers games. He is willing them to victory each night. Like obviously they have a solid squad around him, and with their starting lineup, I think they're undefeated whenever their starting five actually play. They all play.
It's crazy.
But
The
you can tell
process is working.
Yeah, he's the star on that team, dude, for sure. He's been killing it. And I'm not sure if he's a front runner. I believe I've seen him in the conversation though, and that makes me proud, dude. Because Embiid's a guy who, after those last two seasons, I'm like, this is make or break for him. And particularly him and Ben Simmons as a duo, just because I never quite thought that, like, after last year, I was like, oh yeah, they're probably just gonna run it back one more time and then be done. No, man. They're killing it. As far as that goes, as far as that whole team goes, especially Embiid. Speaking of biggest disappointments, dude, you can just go to the East. Obviously, Mavericks number one because I think everybody kind of had him in that title conversation, especially Luka MVP situation. Go to the East, take your pick of like the bottom couple teams. Wizards. I don't think we need to go about them, honestly. Now I know they've been turning it around a little bit. They beat the Nets in the game of the year.
They beat the Nets, but then they go and get like, well, I forgot what game it was. But then they lose the next game to the Trailblazers.
It's just because KD's on the Nets, dude. That's it. Westbrook showed up, so not Westbrook, and he decided to just. That game is amazing, dude. Watching that shit live.
I saw the highlight of the last kind of plays that developed, and it was crazy.
Yeah, it's probably one of the craziest games I've seen live. Now, it's going to matter a lot less if the Wizards keep on losing games. You know what I mean? Like if that OKC Warriors game from like 5 years ago where Steph hit like the half court shot.
He is stiff. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, if they hit that half court shot with like 2 seconds to go, if those teams were they both had 9 wins heading into that, it wouldn't have mattered. So that's like if the Wizards keep on winning, this can be an all-time great game, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, not even just them, the Heat too. Heat are like.
I'm still on the thing that they haven't had their full roster because of COVID protocol. But it is weird, but I think that's the major thing for them. I'm not like gonna give them any hate.
Yeah, but also my personal biggest is, Raptors too. Raptors been pretty bad.
Oh yeah,
they've been turning it around. I think they've won 2 or 3 in a row. But personal disappointment, I got to go Pistons, just because I love Blake Griffin and I love D Rose.
He's not the same, man.
What Father Time is doing to Blake Griffin should be a fucking crime. It should be, dude. I remember his first season in Detroit. If Detroit was winning more games, he would have been in the MVP conversation. I watched probably 60 games of like 60 to 70 games just because I was so interested in seeing how well he was doing, because I've always been a big Blake Griffin guy. It's a travesty. It is a damn travesty. He's 31 now. He's still one of the top paid players in the league, which is kind of funny. But he's averaging 12 points a game on 37% shooting, 5 rebounds and 4 assists. That's heartbreaking. And then D Rose actually playing pretty good still, and he's just getting wasted.
Might get traded soon, anyways.
He should. I hope he gets traded. I really hope he does.
Yeah, no, the Pistons are in a shitty spot. They're rebuilding though. It's just I think Blake Griffin's like a long-term thing for them. They're not going to be able to get rid of him. I think the only person they'll probably be able to move is probably D Rose.
Yeah, and Blake's a guy. I think Blake's probably just going to I mean, he's untradeable because of how big his contract is. I think he's probably just gonna play the next. I think he still has 3 or 4 more years on his deal, which is
Probably
insane.
has an extension too, knowing how these contracts are.
Okay, so in 2017 he signed a 5-year deal, which was going on in 2018. So he has 2 more years, I think, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Hopefully.
But yeah, so he's probably just going to play the rest of his years in Detroit and then probably retire because he has to be in a lot of pain with how many injuries he's been through with his knee. He probably has arthritis in his fucking knee at this point. But man, that sucks. I feel so sad watching Detroit. But to move on from a sad conversation, teams that biggest surprise, dude, the Jazz. I had no idea the Jazz were the first seed until right now. Like I knew the Jazz been killing it, and especially Donovan Mitchell, dude, but I had no idea.
Even without Donovan Mitchell, dude, Donovan Mitchell wasn't there for a couple games and they were still winning.
Yeah, but dude, shout out the Jazz, man. Like they're killing it in terms of like that whole just team working together. And obviously they had to fix everything. It's a Gobert situation, where him and Mitchell didn't talk to each other for like 3 months with COVID because obviously he gave him COVID. But yeah, man, shout out the Jazz. I mean, are there any other teams that you consider to be a big surprise outside of them?
No, I mean, like I told you, my big surprises is as far as success are kind of the ones I named off. I mean, I legitimately thought the Knicks were going to be shitty again as usual, and the Cavs. I think those are 2 teams that surprised me the most out of everybody. Even though they're not like the 4th or 5th seed or anything like that, just the fact that they're in the playoffs or could be in the playoffs is crazy to me. I mean, the Jazz are surprising they're 1, but I mean, they're a team that I think no matter what would have went on the playoffs. But I think like the main thing that's kind of contributed to that is kind of like Mike Conley kind of being Mike Conley when he got there, because he wasn't Mike Conley when he first got there.
No,
and
he
then
struggled hardcore.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. He just wasn't it, and I thought Mike Conley was over at that point. I was like, fuck, they just wasted this, and it was a complete waste of time. Now it's ended up working out. Mike Conley's it, and on top of that, Jordan Clarkson in form too, a good 6 man, and they got a pretty deep bench in my opinion, or decently deep. They can rotate pretty well. Yeah, no, dude, they're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I mean, just looking out in terms of the NBA, a player that I'm impressed with that I feel like is getting no coverage, which is insane to me considering for 2 or 3 years, all I heard about was this man. Zion's been quietly, like, I'm not sure if you consider it quiet because I feel like he's not getting that much attention, at least relative to what he used to. Fucking killing it over in New Orleans. Is it just me, or I feel like he's kind of been flying under the radar? Because I feel like everybody's the NBA, dude. It's like it's kind of, this is gonna sound weird, my phrasing. Every single new player that gets drafted in this year, it's LaMelo. It's like it's the NBA's new toy. You know what I mean? Like they are Bleacher Report's posting about him every 6 seconds. All the Twitter threads are about this dude. He's killing it anytime he makes a shot, anytime he does something relatively cool. Zion was that dude that, like, I saw a meme. It was like the second LaMelo got drafted, and it was a picture of Bleacher Report, and it was from Toy Story, and it was, I don't want to play with you anymore, and it's them dropping Zion as a toy. Since then, fucking 24 points a game. He's been healthy this whole season too, I believe. I'm probably wrong. 7.5 rebounds a game, 2.5 assists a game. He's been killing it, dude. Is it just me, or do you feel like he's kind of flying under the radar?
I think it's because of the team's success. They haven't had any success, and that's really what it is. I mean, if Zion was putting up the numbers he is now, and and the team was winning, it'd be Zion all day everywhere. He's 20 years old. He's putting up these numbers. It's leading to wins. Yada yada yada. I think that's what it would be. He's still a known guy though. In the league, like people, Zion is still there. It's just the fact that the team isn't winning. There is no success right now, so no one gives a shit.
Fair enough. Is there anything else you would talk about in the NBA before we moved on?
No, not right now. I mean, the whole All-Star break thing kind of. I don't really want to get into.
We'll get into that. I
don't need to talk about LaFraud complaining, and then yelling at women on the sidelines and complaining.
That was pretty funny though. I gotta give him credit.
Yeah. It was pretty funny, but
Courtside Karen going off.
It's okay to be. Funny. It's okay to be soft.
Did you see the tweets from our Courtside Karen's husband?
He tweeted something out.
Holy shit, dude! I gotta send it live right now. Let me find it real quickly. This dude has been posting about LeBron for years.
Oh, does he not like the guy?
What do you think?
I think he doesn't like LaFraud. I'm gonna say that right now.
LaFraud, yeah. Let me send this real quickly to you. Just because this whole situation is really, really funny to me because I completely missed it as it was going down live, and I just saw a tweet from LeBron about courtside Karen, and I was like, what the hell is going on, man? Like, because I was like, damn, are they allowing fans? And I was just really kind of confused. Let me send you this dude's Instagram. Like, he's been posting stuff on Instagram about LeBron for years. LeBron's been living in this man's head rent free for years. Let me go ahead and send this real quickly to you. We're doing live. It's a chill week this week, guys. We got a whole lot to talk about. You guys can take the minute.
Let's see. I'm curious now. Now you got me thinking.
Yeah, I think it's really funny. This big steroid head ass.
I know, right? I did see the guy. He is huge.
Yeah, he's really big. He's on that. He's on the shit that makes your head grow.
He's on something, that's for sure. Was it on Reddit or did someone?
Oh, I just sent it to you on Twitter.
Oh, on Twitter. Okay. Let's see. I didn't know you sent it that quickly. LeBron has been limiting referee for years. He almost. Oh my God! Oh, and he's going to Atlanta again. Is that his ex-girlfriend right there too?
I think so. I think so.
I'm just roasting the guy right now.
Yeah, man, this whole situation is really ridiculous to me.
I respect him for being a Hawks fan, though. I like the commitment.
I do respect that too. I respect that.
Could be his daughter. I shouldn't say that.
Dude, I was getting stuff pulled up for the ad read, and then for our next segment, and I saw that League of Legends was still a thing on Monkey Knife Fight, which you guys, should go check out, and I'll read the ad read in 1 second. But forgot that was a thing.
Well, I might throw some money down.
Yeah, you might have to. Because you should always throw money down on Monkey Knife Fight. This episode of Courtside Soundoff broadcast is brought to you by Monkey Knife Fight. Monkey Knife Fight is a daily fantasy sports gaming website for the casual sports fan that is simple, fun, and easy to play. Users determine which superstars competing in the day's professional sporting events will record more or less than the contest line provided. MKF's daily fantasy prop games play similar to the salary-based daily fantasy sports games, but without the algorithms, lineups, and most importantly, sharks. There are several contests to choose from, none of which require hours of research required on competing sites. Start with a simple 2 for 2 or go for the highest payouts up to 100 times and higher by selecting an 8 for 8 more or less contest. Get started now with a 100% instant match bonus up to 50% with the promo code Courtside. Use code Courtside. You put down $10, they'll match it at 20. You put down 50, they'll match at 100. Great deal, great offer, great website, and that parlays us into the Super Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, we talk about it all year. This is the first year on the Courtside Soundoff podcast we've been talking about football, and I'd say it's been one of my it's one of my favorite segments of the week, honestly. Just shooting the shit about football. Because obviously we're an MMA show, but like football is very near and dear to my heart. You know what I mean? Like,
let it out, Josh. Let it out.
And it just makes me so emotional, man. I just back to back, baby. Man. Like, no, but look, we're going back to back. I want to say my prediction, like my official prediction as to why we're going back to back. Because last week, obviously, we had the week off because there was normally the Pro Bowl there, but the Pro Bowl was canceled. I mean, it's not similar to what LaFraud wants. There was no Pro Bowl. There was no All-Star game. But now we got the Super Bowl, man. Angel, you're the football aficionado. What do you think about this week?
Dude, what you mean? This is easy. Back to back, baby. And the Bay.
and the Bay. Look, man, it's gonna be a hell of a game. I'm really excited.
It's about to be 3-2.
Oh shit. Look, man, I'm hyped because I've like.
What other matchup do you want though, realistically, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, the NFL, the second they saw that it was going to be Brady versus Mahomes, oh my God, the dollar signs that they were seeing, dude. And also, like, the storylines heading into this, more even than the dollar signs, dude. Like, you have the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. I mean, I hate that people call him the greatest quarterback of all time, but statistically he is. I think Aaron Rodgers is the greatest of all time. but that's just my opinion. No,
for now.
For now. Mahomes coming for that second ring though. But look, man, I mean, he has 6 rings. That's insane. That's one of those things that I don't think we're ever going to see replicated. It's like Jerry Rice numbers. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody who plays Madden that listens to the show, sit down and just pick a dude in franchise. Doesn't matter. You can start him off as a 20-year-old with a 99 overall. Simulate 20 years. That dude's going to finish 1,500 yards less than what Jerry Rice does throughout his career. You know what I mean? Like 15,000. I mean, Jerry Rice put up like 1,000-yard seasons until he was 45. That's a human anomaly. Tom Brady is also a human anomaly when it comes to the NFL. 6 rings, 10 Super Bowls in 20 years playing. That's insane. Now, look, he's going up against a team that, and listen, I know I'm a cocky Chiefs fan. I picked us to win every single game this year except for the Chargers game. And I even said in the Bills game, I was like, we're winning regardless of Mahomes being there, which we kicked the shit out of him with Mahomes. This is a similar matchup where I'm like, look, man, I don't want to be confident. It's a Super Bowl. Tampa Bay's they're playing hot right now, man. They look phenomenal. I don't think it matters, man. I really think the Chiefs are going to go in there and make a statement. I think they've had these 2 weeks off. I think that Andy Reid's a better coach than Bruce Arians. I think that they're going to utilize their weapons well. And we saw what happened last time, dude. The Chiefs put it on them. They technically only won by 3. But if you're scoring 17 points to make it a 4-point game just to lose, like in the final couple minutes, that's garbage time to me. Like those points, like they still count on the scoreboard, but they're not in the competitive nature of the game. So I'm going to go Chiefs big here, man. I mean, do you also have the same feeling? I know that you're like, you had more faith than I did during the postseason run.
Dude, you always got to have faith. Dude, you can never, any team, man, if you support any team, you need to ride or die with them, man, regardless of what it is, dude.
Dude, and I already took off the jersey. I already took it off. I was ready.
You were ready. You didn't believe in the Henny God.
The Henny God. Anything is possible, my man. And on Sunday night, you know, I'm picking the Chiefs. I think it's gonna be a big one. I just got a new car, so I'm gonna be out, you know, having a good night that night. So I'm fully ready for the celebration. If it doesn't happen, it's gonna be a bad night for me personally.
That new car might not be new that long.
It may not. I'll be, you know, driving into a bridge or something.
Into the stadium.
Into the stadium, dude. Like I can't take it anymore, man. Like, but yeah, man. And parlaying this into our amazing sponsor today, Monkey Knife Fight. Look, last week I went 2 for 2. I said it on Twitter. Or at least our account did that. I went 2 for 2. You guys should use the code Courtside and go ahead and match it, right? This goes to all you guys listening. Take this advice. Last week I went 2 for 2, man. I did 2 bold predictions. They both worked out. You could have doubled your money right there. All right, I did. You should have too. So go ahead and do it this week. This week we're gonna go a little bit more complicated. We're gonna go Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously big game this week. We're gonna go rapid fire.
Okay.
However much you make for this one, it is. There's 3 matchups. You got to pick more or less for, you know, whoever's going to go more. So for this situation, it's going to make 6 times however much you put down. If you get them all right, obviously. So Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, passing yards. You got to go Mahomes, man. You got to go Mahomes. I don't think that one's necessarily close. That one seems like a layup to me. Here's the interesting one. Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, receiving yards. Last time they played, Tyreek Hill put up 217 receiving yards. He broke the record. In the first quarter, he had 200 of those yards. An all-time record, by the way. But he got shut down in the second half by Tampa Bay. He didn't do anything really in the second. He did catch a touchdown pass, but I believe it was like a 10-yarder. Just beat a dude on coverage. Safety was over top. It didn't come over in time. They doubled him a lot in the second half. I think they're going to do that same thing here. And especially since Sammy Watkins is going to be playing, that's going to open up the Kelce more. If they're going to be doubling Hill, I think Hill's going to have a big game. I'm going to go Travis Kelce's going to finish with more receiving yards. Also considering in the postseason, Mahomes has normally looked to Kelce more than Hill. I'm not sure why, just because in the postseason they end up doubling up Hill. Not saying he's not amazing. He had a great game last week, 2 weeks ago. But I do think it's going to be Kelce getting him open more just because Tampa, they doubled him a lot in the second half, and after that first quarter, they're like, all right, we got to shut this shit down, even if it means letting Kelce get open. And then here's the interesting one. Tampa, they got one on here for Tampa. It's receptions. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. If this was I wish they had AB in here because if it was AB, I'd pick AB all day. Whoever's going to get more receptions, Evans or Godwin. I debated a lot for this one and actually did a lot of research. This postseason, it's been damn near equal in terms of receptions. I think Evans has 12 and Godwin has 14. Regular season wise, he looked to Evans more than Godwin. In the playoffs, he's looked to Godwin more than Evans. I think it's a big game atmosphere. I'm going to go ahead and go Mike Evans, just because I think in a game like this, I think the way that they're going to beat the Chiefs is not with speed, a guy like Godwin who's really, really fast. I think they're going to utilize Evans' size advantage just because he's going to be he's one of the bigger receivers in the league. He's 6'5". So I think they're going to go ahead and throw a lot of those bigger passes to go ahead and throw to Evans. And you know what? You guys should double up your money here. And I'm going to go ahead and do it. You guys should too. There's Josh's prediction of the week.
I loved it, man. I loved it, Josh.
Now, obviously, that's all just my advice. If it doesn't happen, then I didn't say that shit. But obviously, just use your own money. Don't use your mom's credit card. You guys know the deal. Shout out Monkey Knife Fight, amazing sponsor. I know they're also doing a promotion right now. If you guys go ahead and enter, do a little buy-in, may send your ass to the Super Bowl. So go ahead and play while you can. Also have a deal. They have a bunch of contests all the time. They're an amazing sponsor. Moving on to the world of boxing. We talked about it, I think, a week ago, something along those lines. Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul is officially postponed. Here's the interesting part. Future, he just outright said it. Nobody asked, by the way. He went ahead and outright said it. Future exhibitions versus Jake. And here's the interesting part. No better way to end off this amazing show than talk of Floyd Mayweather versus 50 Cent. Are you excited for the Floyd versus 50 fight?
I can't even believe that's even a conversation. I don't know if you saw my tweet about it, but I made a tweet about it, about my whole opinion on what he said. It's not even believable. It's fake. It can't be real. It's Connor-esque. It's not reality.
I mean, okay, but you know what? I don't think Fiddy will fight him. I don't think he will. But I think Jake will fight him for sure.
Probably. The money's there.
The money's there. I mean, are you not excited for the storyline of Jake coming to offend? Because let's be honest, I mean, Floyd's gonna kick the shit out of Logan. So are you not excited for the storyline there?
I mean, it's cool, but it's it's hard to get excited for. I'll put it like that.
Okay. You know what? I respect that. I mean, here's the thing that's interesting to me. Why do you think they moved the Logan fight back? Because I've seen multiple different answers, even from Logan's camp. He said that the fight got moved back because it was something that some dude he brought in for strength and conditioning. He's the one who leaked it. And then he was like, yeah, Floyd's team doesn't play with that. We may not reschedule the fight. And then they said it was pushed back for COVID reasons. And now there's a bunch of other stuff going on. Obviously, there was also a rumor that it was because nobody wanted to see it. I don't think that's I think that's bullshit. Because if you guys saw all the promotion going on at the time, which was insane. But I mean, what do you think about that fight being postponed? And do you have any sort of inkling to want to see it, given if they have more time to build it up?
Oh, I definitely want to watch it. I think they had to make. I think they made Logan cut. That's my big thing. I think they made Logan cut.
Now it's worth noting, y'all, that we don't know if that's true or not. We don't know if that's been confirmed or not. That being said, though, smart move if Floyd does make him cut. I think that's a real smart move, dude.
He made him cut.
As far as that goes, just because if it's one thing if it's an exhibition, right? Because it doesn't matter on the record anyway. But even just losing to Logan would be ridiculous. So you might as well make him drain himself down to Logan walks around 199, probably.
Just say 200. Just give him the flat 200.
All right, fine, 200. Fucking asshole. We'll go ahead and say he walks around 200. What do you think makes him drain down to 170?
Hey, I hope for his sake. You know what I mean?
That'd be brutal, dude.
Yeah. What do you think Floyd walks these days just naturally?
Yeah. Naturally, probably 150, 160, somewhere in between there.
160. So yeah, the 170 cut makes sense. It's not impossible to get to, but fuck, man. Because I don't know if you've seen, but Logan has looked a little leaner in some of his pictures. So cut. He definitely did some sort of cut, even if it isn't a major cut.
Yeah, that's true. But look, man, definitely, definitely interesting. I will say they did they really did lose me, and I thought something was going on, simply just because they obviously went ahead and said like, oh, they had the whole 25. You can buy the pay-per-view for $25. They had all this promotion, and I remember it being everywhere. Like whenever it was first announced, I was like, God damn, everybody's hyped for this, I guess. Or I saw lots of talk. I'll put it like that. And then nothing for like 2 months. And now you're getting closer and closer. And the fight would have been next week, I believe. And now it got canceled, or at least postponed. But Floyd did confirm it. So that's something to go off of. I mean, is there anything else we would talk about on this topic or boxing in general before we close out the show?
No, man. I mean, we've talked. I mean, the Pauls have just been in our news all the time, man. I mean, it just goes to show how big of a name they are.
I know, it's disgusting.
It's regardless of what you think. Man, I mean, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. I mean, as far as that goes, it's going to be an interesting fight whenever it does happen, if it does happen. But yeah, man, I mean, I believe that's all we got. I know this is a bit of a shorter episode just because there's not a whole lot in terms of MMA and really a whole lot to talk about in general. I mean, we don't got too many recaps going on, but hope you guys enjoyed this episode nonetheless. Obviously, you guys should go follow us at Courtside Sound 1 on Twitter. That's obviously where I mentioned last time where I talked up myself being the prediction on the Monkey Knife fight being correct. Y'all, I put the money down myself. I'm doing the same thing you are. So if we're losing it together. Okay. So yeah, man. Amazing sponsor as always. Shout out Rogue Energy as well. I'm at Josh Evanoff on Twitter. He's at Angel Ortega _01. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace and butt grease. Mouse click.